to election night has well and truly begun. We're not just counting down for Christmas anymore, we are counting down to December the 12th. And here at your Manchester, we've gone all political.
Yes, indeed. We did reach out to each of the main parties, that is, of course, Labour, Lib Dem and the Conservatives, and two of them got back to us and were very, very keen on explaining how this election would affect the people of Manchester.
Unfortunately, the Conservatives weren't very keen to speak on camera, so they won't be taking part today.
No, they declined to be interviewed or have any part of this episode. However, in the experience of impartiality, we do now speak to Jon-Connor Lyons from the Labour Party and Joe Lynch from the Liberal Democrats. Welcome, first of all. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. Now, why should we be voting for Labour?
Well, I think Labour at this general election will be looking to bring the country into a new era, really establishing real change for the country. I mean, we look at previous Labour governments, you know, the 1945 Clement Attlee government, the Labour government, then it transformed this country, bringing in the NHS, the welfare state, and what we'll be looking to do, hopefully, if the public back us on the 12th of December this year, doing the same sorts of things, transforming the economy and providing real change for the country, all parts of the country, not leaving anyone behind.
And remembering them by giving them free Wi-Fi?
Well, free Wi-Fi, it's real good that you brought that up. That's a major policy announcement, something to support businesses, something to support families. I mean, when I was growing up, you know, I came from a poor background. We didn't have Wi-Fi until I was about 15, 16, which put me behind many of my peers, which meant that when I was doing homework, I'd have to, you know, get the bus to the nearest library, log onto the computer there, try and, you know, in the hour that I was able to use that computer because it'd time out because of cuts to the library, you know, I'd have to do my research then.
Is it a bit pie in the sky, though, to say that we can give people free Wi-Fi? Well, where's the money coming from?
So it's coming from taxing the major multinational corporations, giant corporations like Amazon, Google, those who really benefit from the industry, from the telecoms and internet industry, looking at taxing them so everyone can share in the success of Wi-Fi, because there are certain parts of this country, again those forgotten parts, 10%, that have literally no standard of Wi-Fi. It's really poor, so it's about upgrading all of this country.
Would you say the figure that the Conservative Party have stated is more realistic than the one that the Labour Party have stated?
The 5.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, their figure is about kind of rolling out you know, the kind of investment across the country. I mean, if we look at the Conservative Party's record, they've been saying this at every single election, and this is what businesses have been saying for years. They need this in every part of the country. They have regional, small offices in every town, in every city. They need this investment, and every single year the Conservatives have turned up to their conferences and said, we'll make that investment, we'll make that investment. For the last 9 years they've been saying that, and now elections come, and the pledge is $5 billion. We're saying, yeah, it might happen, but if we look at the track record, it most likely won't.
Do you feel that the Labour Party would be more successful if they had a different leader?
I mean, who knows? I mean, we can play kind of scenarios out. I think the real benefit of Jeremy Corbyn at the helm of the Labour Party is that he has offered this real alternative to the other political parties.
Okay, now Manchester predominantly goes for the vote for the Labour Party. What having Labour in power at Parliament, what does that mean for the people of Manchester?
Well, it means lots of things. I mean, it means £10 an hour minimum wage, it means a good standard of living, it means housing for everyone, not just for the luxury, the privileged few. It means a whole sorts of different things. It means tackling the climate emergency, the climate crisis. It means insulating our homes. It means a whole range of different things. It means devolution. It means money for our councils, so we can do the public services that really need to be funded.
Well, now we are joined by prospective councillor, Mr. Joe Lynch, part of the Lib Dems, everybody. Why is the Lib Dems trying so hard this year with this snap election?
I think that the party has kind of rediscovered its principles. You know, we've shown that by taking a principled stand on something and actually sticking to what we believe, that actually attracts, you know, it attracts people. It is, and it's showing its rewards. You know, we've seen a massive surge in support in the European elections. We finished second in Manchester, and you know we finished second across the country just behind the Brexit Party, which is a single issue party just around Europe. So you know we're sort of coming back from the wilderness and showing that, you know, we can actually provide a progressive alternative to the two-party status quo.
And what have you got to offer? So the people out there, are trying to figure out who they're going to vote for in this election. What does the Liberal Democrat offer to us, especially in Greater Manchester?
I mean, in Greater Manchester, in the general election, we're kind of hamstrung by the unfairness of the first past the post system. We could get across the country, we could see the same percentage vote share as the Conservatives and the the Conservatives and the Labour Party. We'd still finish massively far behind. Mm-hmm. The concentration of support for both Labour and for the Conservatives means that they're going to win the seats all over the country. So, if a third of people voted Conservative, a third of people voted Labour, a third voted Lib Dem, you'd see roughly the same number of seats, I think, for the Conservatives and for the Labour Party, and then we'd have kind of 40 or 50 seats sort of deep in the distance. So yeah, we're stuck in some respects. But what I do think though is that our principled stand on Brexit, the fact that we're offering, if we were to win the election outright and form a majority government, we'd simply revoke Article 50 and stop the process and actually be able to recommit the resources of government to running the country instead of the kind of 3 years of stagnation that we've seen.
And how would that be fair to those that actually voted to leave, though?
I mean, that would only happen in the event that we won a majority government. There'd have to be the democratic mandate from the general election.
But that would be Lib Dems' intention to basically start from scratch and forget that the last few years have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that there is actually the attitude and the appetite in the country for that to happen. We've seen people move from both the Labour and the Conservative parties over to us because they simply want it to stop, and that's why at the party conference we adopted the position of, in the event of a majority government, revoking Article 50. Mm-hmm. If we don't form a majority, if we don't get more than 330 seats, then our position reverts back to campaigning for a referendum on the final deal. So it's not, I was quite, I was a little bit concerned when I first heard that the policy of just outright revoke was actually being floated for exactly those reasons. Yeah. And we have a new, Prime Minister Boris Johnson is a serial liar. Mm-hmm. Democracy, so the democratic system in the UK only functions when those that are participating are actually telling the truth. And when they stop doing that,
the whole... But we can go back to the Liberal Democrats, though, because I do remember on the election where it was the hung Parliament and the Liberals said all about kind of the loans, the student fees, and then you went back on that. So, every party seems to do it.
Indeed. And the difference, though, is that the Liberal Democrats are the only party that have ever really been held to account for reneging on a promise like that.
Chances are, then, fingers crossed for your party, you will be a kind of add-on to either the Tory. Can you work with either party?
I don't see a situation where our party would be prepared to vote with any of the current Conservatives. Okay. Under any circumstances. I think that their party has been outright hijacked by extremist elements. To me, strictly as an individual, I don't see any reason that we would be able to form any kind of working relationship with anyone on the council.
Quite interesting. Well, we will have to see what happens, and it's getting close.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.